Ethiopia's seventh national election cannot be a participatory, honest, credible, and democratic election without a transparent registration process. A current statement from political parties regarding Ethiopia's seventh national election, the political conspiracy that has been going on in a country where human and democratic rights are respected, and where the right wing has been questioning the sovereign political authority of the people, has continued, and justice has not been achieved to this day. The price paid for human equality and equal access to resources, the right to citizenship and dignity, imprisonment, displacement and persecution, physical disability, destruction of property and life, must end, and a lasting and peaceful solution must be found. As we are months away from the seventh Ethiopian national election and are still in the early stages of candidate registration, we are faced with many challenges that are clouding the peaceful political environment, and we urge our people and all relevant stakeholders to give their full attention. In this 21st century, we emphasize that the power of representation should be exercised peacefully and democratically, based on the free will and knowledge of the people. The National Election Board of Ethiopia has failed for more than 30 years in creating an enabling political environment where competing political parties organized in a peaceful and democratic manner can compete on an equal footing. Although it is expected to fulfill its national responsibility with credibility and determination, the rest, except for the 97 elections, did not meet the criteria of free, fair, and credible. Although Ethiopia started the process with the idea that it would try to make the seventh national election free and fair, we are observing that the questions and concerns raised by various parties about the possible conditions are still questionable and are occurring from the beginning of the registration. This approach needs to be corrected and adjusted. When the former southern nations, nationalities, and peoples region was divided into 4 regions, the number of members of the regional councils should be increased by the regional governments. The ruling party registered 10 regional council candidates, a total of 190 candidates, in each of the Sidima constituencies and in the remaining 3 regions. According to the decisions of the regional governments in the election, we have learned that the 5 regional candidates were registered by the ruling party. This incident, which was not known to the opposition political parties, not only raises questions about the independence and credibility of the board, but also shows that they do not care about the political parties, the peace of the people and the country, and the importance of democratic transfer of power. We request the board and the relevant parties to take immediate corrective action. It is recalled that the board had discussed in detail with political parties the development of a system for the registration of candidates and voters using digital technology, and training was provided to the registrars. However, it should be noted that the party leaders did not have sufficient technical knowledge of digital technology and did not have the opportunity to review and approve the system developed by the board. Today, our country, based on the actual accessibility of digital technology and the system developed by the Ethiopian National Election Board with the help of digital technology. Requirements. Having a birth certificate/card is completely unusual outside the cities. Even in the cities, there are those who do not have a birth certificate, and since it is mandatory to submit a house plan when the situation progresses, house tenants do not have the opportunity to obtain a house plan/map from their landlords. It is also not possible to achieve it within the given time limit. Otherwise, the form requires that an eyewitness who was present at the birth be provided, and it is not possible to obtain birth professionals for testimony, even in the hospital. The fact that each candidate is required to enter an email address does not have any relevance to credibility. In addition to the low level of technology users today, it is known that there are few personal email users other than for office work with many simple applications. Therefore, making email mandatory and sharing one email address for 2 or more the law that restricts the use of candidates together should be repealed. When the country's capacity does not allow it, and when we have not reached the technological level of our people, it is inappropriate to use the technological system that the government has reached alone as a criterion, and we have noticed that it is a political conspiracy intended to eliminate opposition political parties from the competition field and deprive the people of an option. The requirement for disabled people to submit evidence from 2 hospitals, 1, It does not take into account the rural areas of the country and requires evidence where there are no hospitals. It is not right to ask for evidence of internal diseases when a physical disability is tangible and visible. When the administrators of each party were registering candidates, the national network problem repeatedly interrupted them and made it very difficult to achieve the identification of the beneficiary within the 3 minutes given. We also noticed how difficult this problem was even with the sophisticated banking system. They say, "We strongly urge the board to examine the above-mentioned evidence and questions and to provide an immediate solution to the unfairness of the systematic political conspiracy that has been used to eliminate opposition parties in the 7th national election, which is worse than any previous election, without the need for a public vote/decision, and to provide a fair solution to the issue." The government has reached an understanding with the competing parties regarding the 7th national election and its conduct through honest negotiations with the competing parties. We strongly urge him to fulfill his responsibility with determination and accountability by working to create an environment that is free from the influence of ruling party cadres, fair and credible, and to bring an acceptable government to power through democratic means and with the approval of the people.